So what's up people, welcome back to Hollywood Breakdowns, and I'm your friendly Hollywood Breakdowner, Prajeth. And today, yes, I'm gonna be making yet another video on the Spider-Man show. After all, I'm a Spider-Man fan. I literally have a Spider-Man poster right beside me in all of my videos. In my previous mid-season review, I already said that the show is really beating all my expectations. It's better than what I had in my mind when I clicked on that show when it dropped on Disney+. And now that I've seen the whole season, I wanna say that whatever they show in this show, whatever we see in this show is not something we've seen on the big screen. Like, every single plot line they have in this show, there are some stuff that, you can't do much. Peter becoming Spider-Man, Norman becoming Green Goblin, those are plot lines that you can't just retcon. But some plot lines, actually most plot lines, are actually new. For that matter, I have to applaud them. And I've been saying this since the start already, when they introduced new characters as his friends. They didn't show us Ned or MJ. They showed Nico Minoru, who is a random character from... I don't even know where she's from. They had Amadeus Cho, and they had this Wakandan character, and they had Finesse, who's the daughter of Taskmaster. See, it's like random characters from the edges of the Marvel universe, and they were put inside here as Peter's supporting characters. But this is different. In my first review, when I talked about those characters, I said Amadeus Cho is character who becomes the Hulk, but I said I don't think they will go through with those storylines in this show. They are doing it. Nico Minoru is a character called Sister Grimm, and they are going through with their plot. They are somehow making these characters become their comic counterpart. They weren't just put in there randomly like I thought they did. Jeff Trammell, the showrunner of this show, just today he reviewed photos of Gwen Stacy, and it wasn't just Gwen Stacy but Spider-Gwen herself, and he said she's going to be appearing in season 2. I don't know if I should be happy or not. For my premiere review, I explained the plot that was going through the first 2 episodes, and then for my mid-season review, I explained the plot in the next 3 episodes. The next 3 episodes did come, and actually they were good as well. I would have made a video on them. Like, we literally had Daredevil inside there. That leaves me to talk about 5 episodes in this review, which I'm not gonna, but I will talk about the key things. How did they end this season? Because if you have been following my reviews and you've heard the story in the first 5 episodes, you know that there isn't a clear direction of the story. Like, they're just having all these characters pop up, and then they do some fights with each of those characters. There's no clear story. We don't know who's the main villain of this season. It's not like a movie, and that's how shows are. So I was fine with it. That's how literally every animated Spider-Man show has been. But the finale, they did something clever, and that was to clear out the doubts about his origin story. So you know how in the first episode we see this portal open up, and Doctor Strange comes and Venom comes, and a spider drops from that portal and bites Peter, and everyone was speculating, is this going to be another dimension? Because Peter did not know Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange said we are not supposed to be here. So everyone had this suspicion, is this going to be another dimension? Are they going to pull a Miles Morales from the Spider-Verse movies? So I was hoping that it would be the same dimension, but Peter just didn't know Doctor Strange. So I was fine with that direction, and that's what they did. He was from that dimension, but a twist that I did not expect them to add is that Doctor Strange time travel. So in the last episode, they addressed what the 4 students were doing in the internship. Each of those projects that the 4 interns were doing were actually combined into one big project by Norman Osborn, where he was trying to create a machine that could create portals to around the world. So Norman says that there are sorcerers who can do it, aliens who can do it. So he says the human race should also have that power, and he achieves it. And right when he was about to on the machine, Doctor Strange comes in and he intervenes, saying that this shouldn't happen because he doesn't know what that portal could bring in to their universe. Norman doesn't listen, he just opens the portal and Venom comes. And then Doctor Strange fights Venom, Spider-Man helps, and then while Peter was trying to fix the machine, because the machine does break as Venom and Doctor Strange fight. So while Peter is fixing, Doctor Strange opens a portal to bring Venom to, and it ends up being Midtown High in the past. So it links back to our first episode where we saw Venom and Doctor Strange fight, and the spider drops from that portal and bites Spider-Man. So it's all connected. And this spider was from Oscorp. So you might question why Oscorp has a radioactive spider. And that is because Norman Osborn is researching on Spider-Man. since he's working in Spider-Man, he gets blood samples from Spider-Man. I mean, the Future Foundation suit has some blood because, oh yeah, this is something I didn't talk about. In last week's episodes, Spider-Man goes hand to hand with Scorpion and the Scorpion doesn't hold back. He literally stabs Peter through his chest from the back. I thought he would hold back, he did not. That is like one point where I was like, oh, they're doing something. Marvel was cooking in that scene because I was not expecting them to literally just stab Peter. I think they got the blood samples from there and they were researching his DNA structure and all that. Yeah, they will be going with the Green Goblin plot. Because in my mid-season review, I did say that I don't feel like they're going with that route because the whole trailer they didn't show anything about the Green Goblin. The show also seems to show Norman Osborn as a good person, but last week's episodes, Norman Osborn actually says this line where he says,
"You may pull your punches, but your opponents don't. You shouldn't fear your own strength, Peter. You don't run from power. You embrace it. With great power comes great respect. And if you don't have respect, you have nothing."
So that already shows how he is not a good person. And so even though he seems like a good person, we are getting hints here and there that he is a bad person and he's going to become the Green Goblin. And this was the final review. He has these radioactive spiders and that drops through the portal and bites Peter, and Peter becomes Spider-Man, and Spider-Man joins Norman, and Norman works on the blood and he has these radioactive spiders and the spider goes through the portal and bites Peter. Yes, time. And Spider-Man actually has this interaction with Doctor Strange after that fight scene, and he says,
"You time traveled, didn't you?"
Yes, but who knows how many lives were altered by me and that thing going back and causing this?
Well, for starters, mine was. I was there the day you showed up. That was also the same day I became me.
It is weird. Like, I don't know how this might affect the multiverse in the first place, or is this gonna be addressed in the Spider-Verse movies, because that is something they do there.
Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999-99.
And also, when they send Venom back to wherever he came from, a piece of him is actually left behind. The MCU keeps doing this. This is the second time they've done this, and I don't know when they're gonna move forward with that story, but hopefully they do it during Secret Wars because that's how it goes through in the comics. And I just want to see Tom Holland become Venom, stop pulling his punches. I mean, we kind of saw that at the ending of No Way Home. He stopped pulling his punches, he almost killed the Green Goblin, and we do have a similar scene in this show. Okay, so the Scorpion is the main villain of this season. When Spider-Man got stabbed and he lost that battle, he gets motivated. Here Norman talks to him and he becomes more powerful, and yes, of course we have a scene where he fights the Scorpion again, like a rematch in his classic Spider-Man suit. Yeah, he actually stops pulling his punches. He recalls Norman's words where Norman says gotta stop holding back because he didn't, and that's why he won. So Peter actually takes Scorpion's tail and almost stabs him, and then we see Lincoln come in the way and stop him. And at this point, Lincoln has become Tombstone. And the way they did it is by... We all know how Doc Ock made some gadgets, and one of them was this liquid can, and the gas leaks from that can, King Lincoln turned into the Tombstone. Doc Ock is now in jail thanks to Norman Osborn snitching his whereabouts to Thunderbolt Ross, and Ross calls Iron Man to go arrest him. So we have that plotline aside. So now we are having villains go against villains. Like we have Tombstone going against Scorpion, and we have Doc Ock going against Green Goblin. For Harry, Nico actually suggests that Harry should start his own company and do his own stuff.
If they're up to me, I'd just sit back and let you all be geniuses.
Then why don't you?
What?
Why don't you create a company to do what you just said?
That's a great idea, but Harry can't just start a company.
No, I could.
You could?
I mean, I think I could.
Harry actually goes through with it. He creates this company called WEB. And coming to the second most important character after Peter in this show, that would be Tombstone, because the character arc he has is really good. Not a villain yet, but an anti-hero, because he's still helping Spider-Man fight Scorpion. The thing is, right, this character called Big Don, who was the leader of the 1/10, actually, he gets scared by Scorpion and runs away while their gangs were fighting. So Lincoln was the one who took matters into his hand and he fought. And after he got those powers, he actually became indestructible. The Scorpion's tail actually broke trying to hit him, and he helps Spider-Man, and he actually becomes the leader of the 110 since he stuck up for them.
So, Buck, where are we heading?
Well, I've got a few ideas on how to turn things around.
And that's how the show ends. And also they hint at his albinism because you can see his hands start turning white after a few days, and yeah, probably when we see him in the next season, he's probably going to be completely white as he is supposed to be. Moving on to some of the side superheroes that we do see in this show. Daredevil, for one, he comes for a small role in an earlier episode.
You're really good at fighting. Thanks. You're not.
They actually didn't go anywhere with why he was there, but he might be fighting Doc Ock. And in the finale, they actually, after the final fight, they actually kind of revisit every character that they've introduced in the show to show us what we can expect moving forward to the next season. For Daredevil, they kind of showed that Finesse and Daredevil are actually a team, and Daredevil sent Finesse to Oscorp to spy on Norman, and she's also now gonna spy on Harry because Harry created a new company. So they didn't really elaborate on that, but they just finally gave us an answer that Jean is actually Finesse and that she's a team with Daredevil.
You mind keeping an eye on him? Finesse?
Sure. I already infiltrated one company to spy on an Osborn for you.
There were scenes where Jean is actually a bit suspicious because she just sneaks into Norman's office. And
Jean? You're not supposed to be up here.
Then why are you here?
again, there is no usual Spider-Man plotlines here. Canon events are not a thing here because origin story was different. Ben Parker died way before Peter got his powers, and also Richard Parker is still alive. Aunt May goes to the jail. She meets Richard Parker, and Richard Parker asks about his son.
So, May, how's my son doing?
So Miguel is going to be really angry about this universe in the third Spider-Verse movie, and they didn't leave us with any unanswered questions. They showed us what to expect in the upcoming seasons, and I'm pretty sure season 2 should be coming by the end of this year because this show is already halfway done through the animatics for season 2, like the producer said.
I've now read all the scripts for season 2. We're halfway through the animatics.
I feel like they're going to do 5 seasons like X-Men 97, so I've pretty much talked about everything, and now it comes to my rating. So this show does everything differently, and it's a good way of making a new Spider-Man show. It's not the same old thing we see. So it's really fresh and interesting how they're dealing with a new Spider-Man story. So it deserves a rating above 4, but of course it can't be 5 out of 5. So I would give it a solid 8.75 out of 10. When the first time you watch it, it's actually great, but when you rewatch it, you realize, okay, maybe it's a bit laggy, maybe some scenes weren't actually as good as I initially thought them to be. Everyone knows my favorite Disney Plus show is Moon Knight, but in terms of story-wise and MCU-wise, I feel like Loki is the best, then Moon Knight. But this show kind of steals the spot from Moon Knight, so that's how good the show is, so please check it out. And that would be the end of my review. I'll catch you guys soon in my Brave New World review, which, yes, I did watch the movie, and it's way for my review actually. So yeah, I'll catch you guys soon, and bye.
Audiences can't get enough of Marvel Animation's Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Gotcha!
All 10 episodes are now streaming only on Disney+.
Here we go.
Critics are raving. The show is visually stunning. It's high energy. Timeless. Refreshing. It's the best animated Spider-Man series yet.
Oh man, this is incredible!
Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. All episodes now streaming.